All right. Hello, everybody. Good morning. We will get started here in just a few minutes. All right. See some new people popping in. Going to go ahead and wait just about maybe one more minute, and then we'll go ahead and kick things off. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So, hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jordan. I am the Client Success Team Lead here at CareerArc, and I will be your host for today's session. We're really excited to walk you guys through our latest product release, which is all about making brand ambassador onboarding and engagement faster, easier, and more scalable. From a universal invite link and self-guided onboarding to ambassador visibility and bulk campaign scheduling, these updates are designed to help you bring more voices into your brand with less manual work. I'm joined today by Stacy, one of our senior client success managers, who will be leading today's walkthrough and sharing how you can take full advantage of these features. And as we go, please feel free to drop any questions in the chat, and we'll take some time at the end to go through those. With that said, I will go ahead and pass it over to Stacy.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Again, thank you so much for joining. As Jordan mentioned, we have a lot of fun new features that we're going to be talking through today. But before we take a look at those, I just wanted to kind of give you guys a peek behind the curtain for how we talk about these internally and how we kind of decide to make some of these updates. So as you know, we are always asking you guys for product feedback, seeing what pain points you have or what updates you'd like to see. And you guys are also really great about just providing that feedback to us candidly. So we started to see a little bit of a trend with some of the brand ambassador things that we were releasing, really getting a lot of asks around increasing effectiveness, helping with onboarding, and overall just decreasing those repetitive tasks. So we did come up with quite a few fun new solutions. First, we have our universal invite link. This allows admins to be able to grab just one single link instead of having to invite people individually. We also have a guided onboarding flow that helps ambassadors walk through a smooth onboarding process, allowing them to see transparency into their campaigns and their schedules. And with that increased visibility, we also have a dedicated profile page that shows connection status, their post schedule, and more on those pages for those ambassadors. So we'll just start diving into all of these fun things. But again, we just heard your feedback. We wanted to create some fun solutions. So here we are. Share my screen here. So first, we're going to start with the amazing universal invite link. This lives under your profile section. And so now instead of having to individually invite profiles, for anybody who's had to do that, you know what a pain that can be. We now have this invite ambassadors link here. Once you click on that, it just opens that link that you can share far and wide with your team for anybody who wants to join you as an ambassador and help expand your messaging. Once you copy this link, this is actually what triggers that guided onboarding flow. So you'll get a branded welcome page. Ambassadors here can create their account to set up that dedicated profile page. They'll obviously connect their profile like normal, and they'll be able to get added to profile groups. This is something else really exciting that we're going to talk about in just a bit. And then once they complete this process, they'll land on, like I said, this dedicated profile detail page. So each of your ambassadors will have access to this page. This shows what's publishing, their connection status, and then campaigns and profile groups that they are attached to. So really exciting that they can have kind of a driver's seat into their account, take a little bit more accountability for what's going on. They don't have to text I text a lot of people. They don't have to Slack people. Any questions about what's posting, when it's going to post, they can kind of dive in here and have a lot of those questions answered for them. And if you think that just because you've already connected your page that you don't get to have access to this amazing dedicated page, you would be wrong. All you have to do is, again, follow this ambassador link, set up your access. So you'll put in your email and your password to get access to that page. And then your connection should be there based on the email that you've put in. So anybody that wants to have access to this page, whether they are already active or a newbie, they can get that set up and have access and visibility into what's posting for them. And so the most important thing, or the most thing that I'm excited about, I guess I should say, we know that we have a ton of customers that have pretty specific messaging when it comes to certain ambassadors, whether that is by region, a specific role, department. And obviously we've always been able to accommodate this, but we just made a lot of progress in making this process so much easier. Instead of having to create a campaign, add those ambassadors individually with their schedules to kind of mimic some kind of variety or less automation within those campaigns. You can now set up what we're calling profile groups to easily get the right profiles into the right campaigns super easy. How you do this, we have a few different ways, as you know. We always have to have multiple ways to do things. Here you'll have your manage profile groups section. This really allows you to see all of what's happening with your profile groups. You can add new ones here, just create that name. You can remove people from specific groups or add new folks here. And then you can also see what campaigns they're connected to and delete that full profile group. So it just gives you a nice overview into everything that's happening. And then regarding how you actually add your ambassadors to this, you can select different profiles and you'll see that bulk action thing pop up at the top. Here you can create a new group. Again, it'll just ask you to name that group, or you can add these users to an existing group by just selecting which group you have. And as you can see, that updates really quickly. It's a bulk way to get anybody who has those specific needs dialed into those individual profile groups. You can search, I know we don't have it set up here, but you can search by individual appendages that you have there. So if you've got like Mexico that's appended to the end of it, physicians, anything else that you kind of have appended for those specific profiles, you can search those and bulk add them to a specific group at any time. And then here's where the real fun comes in. Like I said, you no longer have to try to mimic variety and make your schedules look all fun and funky. The system does it for you because we're here to help at all times. So with this, similar to how you already manage your schedules, once you click here, you'll click Add Schedule, and you'll see this new schedule type pop up here. So rather than just adding those individual profiles like you always could, you'll click Profile Group, and you'll select whichever dropdown for the profile group. It'll already have that job campaign. And then down here at the bottom is where you're going to update that schedule. As always, we have that career arc recommendation that's always going to be added. But if you want to customize that, we have options for 3 posts per week, 1 post per week, and 1 post every 2 weeks. And with this, you can customize, if you only want it to post on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, between certain times, you can set it up that way as well so that you still have control for different positions or different messaging that you're posting on different days. And then again, it'll randomize this for each of the individual profiles that are here. So again, you've got that flexibility with what's posting. It doesn't look robotic. Nobody's posting at 8 a.m. Tuesday morning every single time they get a post. And then once you hit save with this schedule here, you'll see that it populates into your schedule summary here. Obviously, it's not going to give you a platform because we may have multiple in there, but it'll at least give you the summary of what that's set up to post for. And additionally, it'll show up in your campaign summary information here as well. So this will show you that you've got that profile group in there. Again, if you want to remove any of these other ones, or if you want to post it along, you've got plenty of options for kind of flexibility in how you can go through and make sure that you're getting, again, those specific messages to those specific recruiters without having to schedule them a ton of different times. We've also enabled you to do that for your employer brand campaigns as well. So similarly, as we just saw with the job campaigns, you can manage schedules and select that profile group here. So again, it will help rotate through that employer brand as well to help you, again, kind of push out more of that content in a more organic flow. And then we actually have a special little bonus update that we haven't mentioned. This is a smaller update, but again, we've heard more and more feedback about brand ambassadors and specific posting content and how things work in the dashboard. So we went ahead and added what we call a shuffle for your standard posts. Previously, the way that these posts were sent out is they are sent out in the order in which they are added. Each of the schedules gets one post per profile. Now we have it to where you can shuffle those. So if you don't have anything that's super time sensitive, or maybe you just have a ton of posts that can go out over the next few months, you can set those up, hit shuffle post order, and the system will shuffle those between all of the campaigns, or excuse me, all of the profiles within that campaign. Each profile will still get one post per profile. So that's something to keep in mind, but this will at least rotate through. So again, it's moving you away from that robotic and everybody's getting the same post around the same time and giving you more variety and more of that automated feel. And that's really all of our fun updates. I know that was a ton of me talking. I know Jordan encouraged questions. We obviously have tons of time here that we can answer questions, review any other pieces that you guys had that you wanted to go through. Jordan, do we have any questions in the chat just yet?
Yeah, we do have a few. And again, please feel free to use the chat feature to ask any questions and we'll answer those in real time as well. But a few that I see here are, can ambassadors see campaign content on their profile detail page?
Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to see any of the content that they're posting. They'll be able to see which days they're posting for, which campaigns they're connected to, and again, those social profile groups. But as far as content goes, because that's created very much in the moment for when those posts go out, there's not a lot of time for us to have those kind of preview things happening within this page as well.
Okay, perfect. A few more in the chat as well. Does that functionality need to be set up?
Which functionality are we talking about?
That's a good question. The shuffle
It,
functionality.
The shuffle functionality, nope. Again, it will just kind of go off of the posts that are there. So once you add those posts in and you toggle that shuffle on, again, each profile is still going to get one of each of those posts. It's not going to repost a bunch of those a bunch of times. So keep that in mind. But if you kind of reset your campaign, add 10 posts and shuffle, it'll publish those 10 posts on all of your profiles, and then it will be finished posting after that point.
Perfect. Okay. Is there a way to bulk message when multiple profiles need reauthorization?
There's not a way through our system to bulk message, but what we can do, or what I would recommend doing, again, since we have that universal link, is really anybody who is part of the program. You can, rather than saying, hey, you're the person that needs to reauthorize, you can send that wider message to say, hey, go in and check and make sure that your profile's connected, update if not. That also encourages those brand ambassadors to pop into that page if they haven't in a while, maybe check on their campaigns, see if there's anything that they want to update. So it's just a much easier kind of email blast to say, hey, go check on this stuff, make sure that you're feeling good about what's posting, and again, just giving them more visibility and a little bit more control into what's going on their profiles.
Okay, great. Have a few more here for you.
Yeah.
If I create a profile group and add them to an employer brand campaign, will they be automatically removed from the profile group if they are removed from the employer brand campaign?
Nope. So they, if you put in, if you go to your employer brand campaign and you add I don't know that I actually added it on here. But like if any of these folks are within your profile group, I believe it will post based on the fact that you have two different profiles here. So it would post once for the regular and once for the profile group, I do believe, but we can confirm that. But if you remove that profile group from this schedule, if they still have their own campaign, they'd still, or excuse me, their own profile, they would still post here. But you would have to set it up within the profile groups under manage profile groups to actually see those campaigns and what you need to update there for each of those.
Okay, great. Is the universal link useful to those who are still pending authorization?
Yep. So, like I said, anybody who is either active or previously been invited, that universal link, really the difference there is it's allowing them to go through that onboarding flow, get a little bit more information, again, sign up for those profile groups, things like that, and then giving them that last detail profile page that they have access to. Obviously, we are not forcing any brand ambassadors to use that. I don't know why you wouldn't. But yeah, even if they are still a pending user, this is something that you can still send out to your wider team and they can set it up through there as well.
Perfect. All right, just a few more here. And again, please feel free to chat more in as we do have some more time. Can brand ambassadors opt in or opt out of campaigns via the detail page?
As far as opting in or opting out, you can't really pick specific things. It's kind of an all or nothing. You do have the ability to pause your profile if that's something, if you're going on maternity leave or you've moved to a different role or something like that, and you're not quite sure what you're going to be posting for. We can get your profile paused, but as far as selecting those individual campaigns, that's still something that your admin is going to set up on the back end for you.
Okay, great. Last one I see here for now is I don't have a very large team. Can I still leverage profile groups for anything?
Absolutely. So, like I said, profile groups are really just helping you to do a lot of bulk actions in one. So, whether that is adding specific messaging for if you have a specific set of recruiters that are going to a career fair or anything like that, rather than having to manually, like I said, build variety into those schedules, even if it's just 3 or 4 folks, the system is going to take that off of your hands and it's just going to be a lot more time savings and just really helping you kind of vary your content for each profile, again, to decrease that feel of automation or anything robotic happening in those profiles.
Okay, great. Looks like we have a follow-up to tying profile groups to campaigns. Is it now best practice to create profile groups first, then add the campaign to the profile group? Will this be a better profile maintenance strategy?
Really up to you if you feel like that's best practice. Again, if you have a collection of those ambassadors that are going to be posting the same messaging, whether that is again like by region, role, or department, kind of anything that you want to switch up there. Um, yes, it's going to be better if you kind of add them into that first, but just because they're added to a profile group doesn't mean you always have to use that profile group for a schedule. They can still have their own separate schedule. They might just be part of a profile group for a specific set of messaging that you're pushing out or a specific strategy. And then again, you can kind of look back and see what groups they're a part of. As you can see here, you can see the groups, the job campaigns, so you can kind of take a peek at what's posting for them. It just, again, gives more ability to add variety into what they're posting, but you still have that specificity for individual profiles if we've just got one person that just wants to post one thing.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Question I missed at the beginning. Where can you find the link for ambassadors? Can you show that again, please?
So in your profile section, under the invite ambassadors, it'll just live here and you can copy this. And like I said, share that far and wide for anybody who you would like to have posting. Just because they sign up for this does not mean that they necessarily, again, they're not adding themselves to campaigns. They're not setting their schedules. That's still something that the admin is doing on the back end. But this just helps you see what kind of interest is out there in your company. There may be people beyond recruiters or thought leaders at your company that would be happy to share some of the content. So this just kind of gives you a nice net to capture all of those folks.
Okay, looks like we have another one. We often get questions from ambassadors on who is already registered and needs to be registered. Is there a quick way to share current users on the platform via Excel or other ways to give our stakeholders visibility?
So your CSM as well as our support team can always export all of your users for you, and we'll have the statuses associated with those as well. So yeah, that's something that we can always share your way. And then again, those individuals on their own profile page, profile detail page, they'll be able to see if they're active and what's connected there as well.
Okay, perfect. It looks like that's it for the questions. So if anyone does have any further questions, maybe they think on it and something comes to mind later, please feel free to email your CSM or contact support. We're more than happy to help in whatever way we can. Otherwise, just want to take a second to say thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, Stacy, for the great walkthrough. Keep an eye out on your inbox. We will be sending out the webinar recording and some helpful links here shortly. And as always, again, if you have any follow-up questions or want support, please feel free to contact us directly. Otherwise, thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk later.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys. Thank you.